Hey guys, this is Chandler Vincent with weldermade.com. Welcome back for the month of June. Let's weld some aluminum today. Alright guys, let's look at the bottom right hand corner of the blueprint. Make sure we are looking at the same blueprint, and then we're going to go up to the right hand corner where the bubbles point to the different pieces on the project, and that will identify what part is what. So we're going to get started with part 1. Part 1 is the big base plate that's an 8x8 with round corners. And then part number 2 is that big side piece without the logo. And then part number 3 has 2 identical parts. It's the bigger set of rectangles. Alright, and then part number 4 is your smaller set of rectangles. They're 3 inches wide. There's 2 of them. And then part number 5 is the 2 smaller rectangles on the top. The long direction will be 3 inches. 2 identical pieces. That's part number 5. Part number 6 is the other side piece with the Welder Made logo. And that is it. We should have a total of 9 pieces in this project. Let's get started with cleaning. Today I'm using a Dremel, a die grinder with a burr tool. These will be available on the website soon. I really like cleaning aluminum with them. Just make sure you go the direction that the Dremel is rotating. That'll help you from digging in too deep. I like it because it removes the material instead of smearing it. If you don't have one of these tools, that's fine. You can use a flapper wheel on a grinder. You can use a hand file. And if you don't have anything else to clean those parts mechanically, you can always weld them the way they are. They weld pretty clean, just right off the laser. So I just rubbed these parts down with a chemical cleaner. I like to use acetone. You guys can use whatever is convenient for you. Just make sure you use the proper protective equipment, gloves, and make sure that it's far away from your weld area when you are done, because most of these chemicals are highly flammable. Okay, so I'm going to start off by tacking parts 3 together, parts 4 together, and parts 5. Anything on the same plane that I can tack flat on my table, I'm going to do so right now. I'm going to make sure all of my weld joints are nice and tight, no gaps. And once we got all those tacked together, I'm going to brush them lightly while they're on the table, and then we're going to go straight to the easy tack. We're going to take parts 5 and we're going to tack them onto parts 3. Remember, parts 3 are the bigger set of rectangles. And now I'm going to bend them to the angle desired. You can use those side pieces to check your angle. I just got it close right here. I'm going to start tacking on parts 4 to the back side of parts 5. Okay, now we have that assembly. We are going to step away from the easy tack and start tacking on these side pieces. I found it really easy just to set them flat on there, line up that top corner, and worry about one corner at a time. I'm going to repeat that same process on the other side. I'm going to line up one piece and do one corner at a time, making sure that fit up's nice and tight, giving me a perfect corner joint all the way around. Okay, now it's time to put this assembly onto the base plate. Looks like I'm 1 inch from the edge, so I'm going to take my sliding T-square and put it at 1 inch and just kind of mark that aluminum on 2 sides. Put nice heavy tacks in the corners. Now I'm going to go through and put extra tacks everywhere these butt joints meet another joint, keep them from warping. Put nice tacks on all the corners. This is really critical to help heat flow throughout the project and keep it even and let the heat transfer evenly through the project. So if you have an open gap, oftentimes that specific part that's not touching another will build more heat than others, and it'll be really hard for this welding process. Alright guys, starting this welding process, I'm going to go to the back side of the project to the 2 number 4s. We're going to have that horizontal butt joint. I'm going to start welding that butt joint, and then I'm going to transfer over to our part number 3s, kind of there on the angle, that horizontal butt joint. I'm going to get it welded up, and then I'm going to transfer over to the top to our 2 number 5s, and that will be all of our butt joints. And now I can start tying those in by welding all the outside corner joints. Alright guys, so now that the butt joints are welded, I'm going to weld that skewed corner joint at the top that's meeting parts 5 and 3 together. Alright, I'm using this TIG finger to rest my filler wire hand on the project as I weld these vertical joints. These TIG fingers come in handy on both hands. A lot of people just try to keep them on their torch hand, but I also find that using them on your filler wire hand helps a lot too. So this allows me to rest my filler wire hand nice and steady. That way I'm only worried about one hand with the torch. I'm going to go over and do that opposite corner. Now I'm going to go up these angled vertical joints. This one is quite a long weld joint. If you start to get uncomfortable, feel free to practice a restart right in the middle. Now I'm going to carry this weld up and around this top edge, having that weld on those top corners go the same direction. I really like having welds on these outside corner joints all go in the same direction. It looks really good cosmetically. So now I'm going to weld up this angled vertical joint here, and I'm going to leave my crater all on that one corner. That hides all the craters for all these joints, only leaving one crater on that top corner and one down here on the fillets. So this fillet weld is extremely tough. I'm sure some of you struggle with fillet welds more than others with aluminum, and here's why. We'll get into this a little more deep with our Chalk Talk videos, but the main thing that's happening on these joints is your base plate is sitting flat on an object that absorbs the heat out of it really fast, and so you're tending to weld it too cold, and so you try to weld it hotter, and then you're going from one extreme to the other. So for a quick tip to get you started is try to weld hot and fast on these fillet welds. And if you're still having a problem, grab a spacer and space that project off that base plate, and it'll help you. The main problem people have with these fillets is just heat management. You're either way too cold or way too hot. So I really like the way this project turned out. It was a good project, a really clean project, long butt joints, long outside corners, and some good fillet weld practice. What I want you guys to do in between these month-long subscriptions is is self-grade yourself, self-assess on these projects, see where your problem areas are, and practice those areas with coupons while you're waiting for the next month's subscription. That way, when you get the next month's subscription, you've fixed your problem areas, and that'll help with faster improvement and help you progress a little faster. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. I'm loving these videos. I'm loving helping you guys. I cannot wait to get some Chalk Talk videos out for you guys. I know I've been saying that for a while, but we've been really busy here at Welder Made, growing. This company's been doing really well, so we've been pretty busy, but it looks like my schedule will be a little more clear in the next couple weeks. So I'm excited to get some videos out for you, and we'll go in depth in a lot of these areas. So keep practicing. Thank you for being a part of the Welder Made family, and I'll see you next month.